So when you're going raising a round, I think more than the money or the valuation that you're getting, I think it's the value add from the investors. That's far more important, and the value add at different stages is very different. So if when you're raising your first round, the importance of the value add, that is the connections they bring or their experience in the sector that you are in, is more important. And as you raise your further rounds, your Series A, etc., probably the valuation and the money that you're raising becomes more important. So it's as you're raising money, that's a scale that you need to take care of. And initially, given that in our case, we didn't have domain expertise, so none of us were from retail too much, so what we went and did was we would constantly keep talking to consultants in the retail sector, and so when we actually went and raised, when we were going to raise our angel round, we went back and spoke to like a bunch of them, saying we're raising a round now. If you believe that we have the right kind of a product, you can invest in us. In fact, we raised angel over 3 rounds over about 2.5 years, from 17 different angels. And in each case, we would go back to people we met in the earlier years, who liked our product, who had referred us to a couple of guys, who we knew had the right kind of contacts in retail as an industry, and then get them to invest in those rounds. You will have a lot of people who will say no to it, but the guys who will say yes will have faith in the product, will know how they can add value to you as a company. So although it's a slightly tougher thing to actually talk to many people and then raise money, it's a very good idea, because a lot of, like, if you look at us, about 20-25% of our initial business in the first 2 years came in from people like that. Again, when we went global, we went back to all those guys we met in the UK, in Hong Kong, and in other markets, and said, would you be interested in investing in us? And fortunately for us, we did have people who invested like that. And when you have actually people who are domain experts in an industry investing in you, that also gives future investors a lot of confidence that you have the right kind of people involved in the company. So that kind of worked very well for us. The other side of investors that you want is people who can help you build the company well. So typically entrepreneurs who have scaled their companies to being large firms, to whom you can go back and take advice when you're raising a VC round, or how should you organize the company in terms of the organizational structure or things like that. So I'd say, typically when you're trying to raise money, go into people who you would want as advisors and get them to invest.